Always a party at Patchworks. Let's get this party started. Woot, woot. Hi everyone, this is Julie from Patchworks, and I am so excited that you're joining us for another Must Sew TV here tonight at Patchworks. So if you're catching this live, we are 2 hours earlier, surprise, on this Thursday night, so going live at 5 o'clock. We are replaying it at 7 o'clock. So if you're catching our 7 o'clock show, it will be a replay, but we are going to be broadcasting it like a live so that you can just still have all the party fun, because sometimes it's more fun to have parties together. So that is how we're doing it today. Thank you so much for your flexibility this summer as all of the crazy summer schedules come into play, and I'm so fortunate to have some family in town for dinner tonight. So today I have so many exciting things to show you, which is why, well, we just had to do a show, and I thought we'd try it where we're live at 5. So for any of you who are watching live, we do have Tammy at the keyboard today at 5 o'clock, and Frank is behind the cameras. So let's get started. We have 5 amazing fabric packs to share with you tonight. And Frank, let's look overhead. So we have Ghostly Greetings from Deb Strain. I love my Halloween, and I love the spooky Raven-esque Halloween. So we'll look at that fabric line a little bit later, but you have 12 beautiful fabrics in our stacks. So as a reminder, we have the skinny stacks that are the 12 fabrics shown that are fat eighths. A fat eighth is 9 by 20. And we also offer the larger fat stack, which is the 12 fat quarters of the same fabric line. So as you walk in the store and you see all these really awesome boards all around the top of the store, all of these are different 12 packs that are available in either the fat eighth or fat quarter size. The next line that we have here for you is Chickadee by Create Joy Project. I love this watercolor look. It's a continuation with all of their fabulous fabrics. Once again, we have the fat eighth and fat quarter size. One of the things that's unique about our Create Joy projects fabrics are that they're mostly light backgrounds. A lot of the times we put together the dark stacks and then you would add your light to it. But in this case, you would be adding a darker color, maybe a more saturated fuchsia or violet or beautiful deep green. It would also be beautifully set against a solid black. And here, this is Peppermint Bark by Basic Gray. Oh, I am just in love, in love. So this is kind of a revisit to Basic Gray's original Figgy pudding. And they also had done another fabric line that was very similar along the way, maybe even a couple. So I have a couple of projects that I'm going to be sharing with you that are revisits of some older projects. Super fun, super exciting, but I am just in love that we have this revisit of one of my very, very favorite holiday lines here in our Peppermint Bark by Basic Gray. We have 2 additional fabrics that I want to share with you, and that is Blizzard Blues by Sentimental Studios. So this is just a great winter collection, and it has the nice snowflakes in it. It goes from very light to a darker navy here, once again in our fat eighth, as well as the fat quarter size. And then our Color Builder collection is a beautiful, beautiful sea glass collection. Oh, look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? So you have the shells. So it's some Stacy's shoes, some Create Joy Project, some grunges, some Me and My Sister designs, some Zen Chic here, some of the spotted. Then we have some blenders from Robin Pickens. We have some Spark by Melody Miller. Some beautiful thatched from Robin Pickens. Gorgeous tonal here from Stacy Issue. And then another grunge. So we have our our skinny stack and our fat stack. So those are beautiful fabrics that we have for you. If you are a member of the club, all of your club materials will be available for pickup or for shipping out on Friday. That is August 19th, I believe. And if you see something here that you'd love, 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 and you are not a club member, by all means, just let us know, because we have lots and lots of fabrics here for you. So we are really excited to be able to share these packs with you. The small skinny stack is $24.99, and the fat stack is $44.99. The first project that I would like to share with you is taking a deeper dive into our ghostly greetings. So we have this really pretty quilt behind us, and it's super fun and super quick and a great fat eighth project. I'm just going to clean this off, and then I'm going to go through the Ghostly Greetings fabric line, because I think that that makes it a little bit more impactful as we talk about the project. Is that a word? Impactful. Ooh, using all the crazy vocabulary. So for the Ghostly Greetings, let me grab this here. I'm downstairs today, so I have the giant table, so I'm just spread everywhere. I have some next to me. I have some on the table back there. It's just really exciting. So in this particular fabric line, we have 28 if I can read, 28 fabrics and 2 panels. So let's look overhead at the fabrics that we have going from light to dark. So this is a Deb Strain fabric line, and she has, it's kind of spooky, but not too scary. So, and as I had mentioned before, it also has kind of that Poe-esque feel to it, okay? So you can just get out your Poe essential reading, and you can start refreshing your memory with your favorite poem, or at least my favorite poem, which is The Raven. And that has a bunch of it on there. Then we have some nice tonals, some bats and skeletons, more backgrounds, some scary spiders, raven on gray, because you can't have enough raven. You really can't. I'm super excited because I have the print of the raven from Deb Strain's previous Halloween line in my stash. I got the rest of it. And so I think I just need to have the raven in as many different fabric prints as I can get. What do you think? I think that's an excellent plan. So these tonals are fabulous. And I know I'm hiding our other guy here, but you understand, you see them all. They're super cool. So we have the fat quarter stack. We also have a half-yard stack of the whole collection. And I'll show you the other pre-cuts that we have available. So this might be my favorite, or maybe that was my favorite. I don't know. What do you like? Do you like the light or do you like the dark background? Super fun. So now I'm going to show you the panels that are with that. So the panels, Frank, let's look up. So you can see the finished panel right here, and it's the poem. So Once Upon a Midnight Dreary, While I Nodded. So I won't bore you with my rendition. I think everyone who works at Patchworks is a little tired of hearing me utter it, but it's very fun. So we have it in the dark and also the cream background. So whichever you prefer. We also have, so I said we have the fat quarter tower, the half yard tower, and then the jelly roll, charm pack, and layer cake. So Tammy was super excited because she realized that you can make this little fun quilt out of a skinny stack, half yard of inner border, and a panel. How awesome is that? Super awesome. So we borrowed a pattern. I'm going to show you the original in just a second, but a pattern. So all of our club members are getting this pattern. Things are looking up, and I probably didn't tell Tammy that. Did I tell you that? Do you have the link?
I don't have it.
Okay, so we'd be able to share that with you. We have links, or we have kits for the original coloration, but I just wanted to share with you, this is super fun. You cut 5-inch, you cut 4.5-inch squares, not 5-inch squares. You cut 4.5-inch squares from your fat eighth to make this. So it's super fun, and they must have been reading our mind that it works with fat eighth packs. And with the 12, how much fabric do you have left over?
I had a lot of fabric left over.
So Tammy had a lot of fabric left over after making this.
Probably half of each piece.
So she's saying half of each piece. So that's super fun. And so that also would mean if you had cut your squares bigger, you'd be able to potentially get some out of there as well, though we haven't done the math. So we recommend that if you haven't done the math, just stick to the pattern. And this is just a really fun thing to do. So you could use your leftover pieces to make a scrappy binding, or just go ahead and get 1/3 of a yard for, they say a half. Get a half yard by 10 yards. That's always my favorite answer, so never ask me what to get. 10 yards of fabric, and the quilt finishes 36 by 56. So that means that you can get away with one width of fabric if you are going to be, having it quilted. And so you would want to go ahead. They say 2 yards. That is just a titch generous. So absolutely 1 3/4 yards, but 2 yards is fun too. If you wanted to choose the same fabric for backing and binding, go ahead and get that 2 yards. And then after it's quilted, you can chop off your extra to make your binding. This is a teaser because we also have this gorgeous, Frank, let's look at it overhead, this really cool box kit. Dun, dun, dun. So this one's a little bit more complicated, but you still use the panel. You have a little bit wider inner border, and then you have these half square triangles. So let's take a peek inside of this really cool box. I love this tiny box. Sometimes I just love the tiny box. It's super cool. So it is a lavender lime So Simple panel quilt. Have all the instructions there. And it is charm pack friendly here, okay? So you have your charms, 2 charm packs, your panel, your inner border, and then your light background, your dark background, and your binding. So all of that is in here. You just would need your backing. This is a 48 by 64 quilt. It's all in this super cute box and includes a 4-purchase pattern, and it is $95.99. I think I might need this just for the box so that I can store some really cool Halloween gifties in it. I just love these boxes. They're amazing. So if you wanted to see now, I know this is Moda, but we did want to share with you, I have the alternate version of, or the original version of this quilt right here. And that is done up here. Things are looking up. Panel quilt, 36 by 56. We have it in blue and kitted up also in the traditional red and green. So that's super fun. So now I should put your ghostly greeting back up again, because we just, for those of you who might be tuning in later, we want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to see it. Doesn't that sound like a good idea? It does. Changing out our backgrounds are always fun. All right. Next up, I wanted to share with you that we have some fabrics from the Chickadee collection for Create Joy Project. And Create Joy Project has done a whole bunch of really great fabrics. They have a bunch of different lines. All of you have loved them really, really well. We've noticed that they all blend well together. And quite often, moda designers do blend well their collections from one collection to the other. Sometimes they change up or have different seasonal styles. What we did is we did put all of our Create Joy fabric that we have in the store and did put it together, just so that you could see how everything just works together. And I brought down a few pieces as well as have pre-cuts to share with you. So for the pre-cuts that I have here, I have the charm pack and the layer cake and the jelly roll. Now, Tammy, I think that we only have a few of each left, right? So she's, okay, so I think that we're down to the last layer cake here. That's one of the challenges when the pre-cuts come in earlier, you know, and I just try to show you as soon as they come in. But when you see those pre-cuts, make sure to snag them right away. And then we have this really gorgeous, this is the new floral. So isn't this pretty? It's just yummy. I think that's Frank's favorite adjective for fabric, yummy. He uses it all the time. And then we have some splatter dots. It's like paint splatter here, with some connect the dot kind of things going on. And then a stacked version. So Frank, if you just want to show overhead. So a beautiful collection here. We did not get the entire collection. It's really hard to gauge when fabrics are coming these days. And so we just have been wanting to get in a good representation of the fabrics, give you some good focus fabrics, and just know we will be continuing to bring in Create Joy Project. These also work spectacularly well with batiks. So if you're finding that we're a little low on some of the coordinating tonal pieces, I would go ahead and jump to the batik wall, because either those watercolory prints that are just like this, or even some things that have some light prints would work really, really well. And it's 100% okay to be mixing the fabrics. I would just strongly encourage you to pre-wash those batiks that you would be using with this fabric, so that you can take out any residual dye that might be with them before you work on your project. The third fabric line that we're going to talk about today is our peppermint bark fabric. So I am going to quick grab that, and then we can talk about the projects that I have behind me, as well as one project that I don't have behind me that I'm still going to tell you about. So I have the fabrics here, and then let me lay them out for you. And I'm also going to tell you about a couple of the grunges. So the grunges that were released in this particular line, they are not new grunges. They are just using suggested grunges. So the thing that I really like about this is that there's not a limited release grunge that we get super excited about that we aren't going to be able to get in 3 months. So I'm super excited that they have included 4 grunges to coordinate with this line. So we have all 40 pieces of this particular line, and Frank's going to go overhead so we can take a peek at this. So we have some great trees, and let's just take a peek at this print. I just think it's super cool. It's a small scale. This is directional. And then we have the peppermint. So this is looking maybe a little yellow on the screen, just so that you know it reads a little bit whiter and crisper. This white is color 544, which is soft clear water. This here has, it's a white on white with this print, okay? So you might be able to see that. Little peppermint stripe. This is aqua, color 60. And this print here, this is like a collage print where you have some textures, some text. It's like stamped snowflakes and then these different motifs on top. So that's just gorgeous. Stylized snowflake with dots. This is a beautiful print. I love, love, love the return of these stripes. So you have the stripe with the aqua, trees on aqua background, this cool texture, peppermints, red. This red is, oh, this one is original to this line. I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's called candy cane. Scoop up your candy cane. Scoop up the candy cane. Okay, I misspoke on that. Thank you so much for clarifying. And good thing Tammy was here. Otherwise, I would just be talking craziness. I would talk craziness anyhow. So, beautiful fabrics here. We're going to keep going in. Another stripe, great tree. Then we get into our greens. So this green is color 366, which is forest. More snowflakes, stripes, trees, tonal. I might be making my little spiral here too small. And peppermints. This here, this is iron, color 438. I love that strong black. In the original Figgy pudding, it had been a brown that you'll see in just a second. So that stark iron charcoal is beautiful. Oh, this might be my favorite. No, this one's my favorite. This one's my favorite. Beautiful. And then the trees on black and the peppermint, hence peppermint bark. So the quilt I have behind me is a 12-pack quilt. And this particular fabric line, I forget what the color of this line had been. It was not Figgy pudding. It was I think it was the second version of this. And the 12-pack program had been where you take 12 fat quarters. So this was really one of the things that had started us back a while back on our 12 fat quarter quilts. And so we revisited this. Now this is leaves, but I thought that this looks like Scandinavian snowflakes. So club members, you will be receiving this pattern that shares with you how to make this super simple block and then set it as a snowflake. You could also change it out and use it with autumnal fabrics for a leaf quilt pattern. Super simple. It takes 12 fat quarters. For the 12 fat quarters that we have that fat stack available like this, which really is a nice representation here and would very similarly represent this quilt. So you have your 3 black fabrics, your 3 greens, your 3 aqua, and your 3 reds. Okay. Now this particular grunge that's with it, I don't have the color off the top of my head, but it is a current grunge color. You can see that it has that little bit of a green tinge to it. The one that they've put with this line has less of a green tinge to it. I love it. I think any of the grunges would work spectacularly. You could also do something like if you were able to scoop up some of this tonal fabric before it was gone, you could do that. The background required on this quilt is 3.5 yards, and that includes the fabric for, there's a outer border here. This quilt finishes 55 by 70. You could easily make it larger by putting another border on the outside. So if you wanted to make this outside border a little bit smaller and then put a printed piece, you know, like one of the trees or such, just tell us what you're thinking and we'll be more than happy to help you calculate in the store how to do that. Keep in mind, if you are going to be using a directional fabric, you may choose to get the whole length. So in this case, from a 70, you'd probably go ahead and get the 2 yards, cut those long lengths so that you don't have to piece it. So those are my tips. If you need this pattern, we do have some copies available in store for purchase as well. All right, now the other thing I want to share with you. So for this line, I had shared with you that we had the fat quarter tower. We also have it in a 1/2 yard tower. We're waiting on the pre-cuts. So Frank, you said they shipped already, the pre-cuts? For peppermint bark?
I believe so.
Okay, and so we have some, like the standard charm pack layer cake and jelly rolls coming? Okay. So, and if you need all 40 in bigger cuts, of course, we have those. Anybody need yard cuts, let us know sooner than later, okay? And so you can see it does play really well with the previous lines, which is another reason why I wanted to bring this out. But it came super quick and we didn't have it done up for you in anything, so that's why I wanted to hang this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this down and I'm going to share with you pattern inspiration from the original Figgy pudding. So this is super exciting. So this one is from the original, and this one is slightly different colors. It has a little bit more of a cream background to it, and it has that brown instead of the black. Okay, so you can see that. But if you look at like the reds go really well, and some of your other fabrics would go really, really well with it as well. The cocoa brown could totally play with the black. I just wanted, out of full disclosure, if you know you have some Figgy pudding, I just wanted to share with you how that went together. So this pattern behind me was created by one of our quilty friends, Rodney Guile, and this is called PB&J. So it is parts, bits, and junk. It actually was intended to be a scrap quilt where you use up all of your little extra things. So it's more of a pattern of how you use up your extra strings and scraps. And then you cut them up and use them as blocks. We cheated here and we used one of these gorgeous prints. So like this cool stripe. Remember I said I was so excited about the stripe? So it is the same pattern, just different colors of it. And then in this case, we used one fabric for all of the junk in between. So really, really fun pairing your favorite grunges with some extra pieces. So that, while I didn't quite do the math on it, I'm very confident that you would be able to get all of your piece blocks out of a fat stack if you had wanted to. You probably would be able to get it out of your jelly roll layer cake. I just don't know how the cuts actually work together, okay? Or of course, just scraps, or you can buy all of the fabric as well. So that is that. The other project I wanted to share with you, I don't have the sample done up. We were planning on redoing this amazing quilt, which was a revisit back to the original Figgy pudding. So this quilt, let's look overhead, Frank, was a project from the original Figgy pudding, and it is a combination of, oh, this way, Frank's helping me out here. I'm going without a screen.
Right there, stop.
Stop. Okay, so this is a combination of dimensional trees and really cool square and a square blocks, which are essentially courthouse step versions of log cabins. So that is super fun. Stay tuned for this project to be finished. We actually will probably only be making a quarter of it. For you know, you do need yardage, and it is not fat eighth or fat quarter.